Welcome to Get Your FRQ On. In this tutorial, I'm going to show you how to do a quadratic regression using your graphing calculator. First thing I want to do is point out where we're going to find this. This will be under the Stat key. And so we're going to click on Stat, click on Edit, and we're going to check our data. So let's say we've collected some data, we have a table here. Before we even try to understand what type of regression model fits the data, first thing we ought to do is make sure that we can visualize it, because if it's linear, we're going to want to use linear regression. If it's exponential, we'll use exponential regression. We want to understand what this data looks like so we can pick the best model. All right, now in order to graph this, we're going to have to go to stat plot, which is second y equals. So I have my stat plots. Notice they're all off. I'm just going to choose the first one, click enter to enter that one. On is blinking, so I'll click on that. Scatter plot, connected scatter plot, bar graph, bar and leaf graph, and so on. We want the scatter plot. So we're going to select that. My X list is L1, my Y list is L2. Whatever marker you want, whatever color you want, it doesn't really matter. So now that I have this on, so here's the graph of that data, right? So it doesn't look linear, it doesn't really look exponential or logistic or anything like that. It definitely looks quadratic, right? So a quadratic regression would be appropriate here. And to do that, we're going to go back to Stat, move over to Calc, and notice option 5 is QuadReg. That's just short for quadratic regression. So we're going to go there. Choose your X list and your Y list. If you have a frequency list, use that as well. Do you want to store the regression equation into a Y equals editor? Yes, I do. We'll store that in Y1. And when I'm ready to calculate the regression model, highlight calculate and click enter. So these would be the values of a, b, and c in the standard form for the quadratic function, ax squared plus bx plus c. Notice that my r squared is 0.996. That's quite high, so we would assume that this is very good correlation here. And if I want to see how good my model fits the data, I can just click on graph again. Because I set the regression equation as the y1 function, now when I hit graph, I see both the stat plot and the regression equation, and yes, that does in fact do a pretty good job of describing that data. So that is how you can use your graphing calculator to fit a model to quadratic data.